Empowering listeners from the US to the UK. Live on air with Stephen Cuoco.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, no matter where you're at in the world. You're listening to Live on Air with Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5 Satellite Radio. We are live right now on power985.com. You can download the app, tune in on Alexa. Also, Power 98.5 is available on Apple Music. We are also live on Biz Talk Radio, biztalkradio.com, the leading top station for all things business, news, entertainment, and more. Very honored and happy that my reach around the world, 200 countries, 20 million listeners, all I have to say is wow, 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 wow. It's been a great day today. I'm in that kind of mood. It was a crazy weekend. I felt like we were visited by the aliens. Something was going on. It was a strange weekend. And I had some conversations with some people, and I don't know what was in the air, but it was unique. I woke up today feeling light, excited, happy, motivated. Could be a growth spurt. Who knows? Either way, I'm excited about this one. We've got Mr. Clark Bartram. He's a celebrity fitness expert, former U.S. Marine, an accomplished fitness model, writer, and trainer. He's established himself as one of the world's top online trainers and previously hosted a TV fitness show. Clark's passion for sports led him to pursue bodybuilding and then became a personal trainer, earning the prestigious title of Bart, is that L or I? ISSA Master Trainer.
ISSA.
ISSA. There we go. How are you today, my friend, Clark?
I'm feeling the exact same way you are. I woke up this morning, I put my feet on the ground, and I said, today I will positively and powerfully affect everyone I come into contact with. And that's how I like to start each and every day, because this is the day that the Lord has made, and I will be glad and rejoice in it. So there we go. How's that?
I appreciate it. And to add into that, I wake up every morning before I get out of bed, before I touch that phone or do anything else. I say, Lord, what amazing opportunities do you have for me today? Or I'll be like, God, what awesome and amazing opportunities do I have to look forward to today? And that's how I start every day. And it helps me not to have any expectations.
I love that, man. You know, and when I was hearing your intro, I thought you had a special intro made for me. I was feeling so special, handsome, good looking, thoughtful, considerate, positive, motivated. I'm like, wow, he really went out and made a great intro for me.
Well, you are all those things. I was telling your rep, I was like, geez, he looks freaking good for his age.
No, let's get it straight. I look good, period. That's what people need to understand. We put a number in front of or behind things, and that's what I'm trying to help people understand. It's not about a number. It's not about any of that. It's about how you feel, how you function, how you treat other people, and all of that. And age is simply one of these things that we put so much emphasis on. So I like to correct people when they say that. I look as good as any 20-year-old on the street. I'll line up against 1,000 of them any day. And I know that seems very cocky, but it's not. It's confident. It's me knowing who I am and what I bring to this world. So I'm running with it.
Clark, I embrace that. I appreciate it, and I want to say thank you, because I'm right there with you. I will say, I'm going to be turning 50 this April. I'm excited about it. I'm not concerned about the number. This is my perception about it, is with knowing my life, how it's gone, I'm extremely blessed and grateful, more because of the unknown miracles that's got me this far, 5 decades and anything else, to be able to look at, wow, to know that I had died several times in this life. And there were moments where I was not too sure how I would ever make it and if I would. And being where I'm at today, I still want to thank you for that, because it's true. People focus on a number, but I'm going to honestly say, no matter what age you are, be be extremely grateful that you were able to make and to have 10 years, 15, 20, or even 50 years of experience to have this human opportunity and moment. It's a blessing.
It absolutely is. You know, I'm preparing for a master class today that I'm teaching where men from all around are joining me, and they're going to learn how to shred body fat, boost their testosterone naturally. And that comes from what you had just mentioned, all of the decades of experience that I've walked through, the people that I've encountered, and the opportunities that I've had. We'll call them what people will refer to as failures in life. But all of those are lessons that I've collected over the years that now there's this collective of knowledge. So learning from Jack LaLanne, learning from Frank Zane, learning from all of these intelligent people, these guys are going to have the privilege of hearing from all of these different touch points that I've had in my life. And that's really why I exist. I am here on this planet to do that, to be an inspiration, because admittedly, you know, we'll go back to the age thing because that's what people relate to and understand. At 60, I am a bit of an anomaly, and people are coming to me for this information, and I embrace it, and I take it very seriously. And I know that people's lives truly are hanging in the balance because people are confused, they're frustrated, they don't know what to do. And being overweight and having low testosterone and all of these things that men are experiencing now is really kind of undermining the fabric of our Western culture. And it's a shame. And if I can use the gifts and the blessings that I have, I'm absolutely doing that.
What I appreciate what you mentioning is I not only believe that you're an inspiration. What I also appreciate about you is the fact that it's more than the way you look. It's a fact that you've been blessed with 60 years in this world. You've got so much to teach, so much to talk about, so much to inspire by, that I'm honored to have this moment and this opportunity. And when this came to my doorstep, I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing this. And I reached out to your representative. And even a look at your Instagram, and those that are tuning in, all great things, Clark Bartram. Head on over to his Instagram. That's ClarkBartram. Is that you have experience and you have the education to understand what people need beforehand and what people need after, even if it's for preventative measures and health. I want to thank you for this opportunity to inspire me and to teach me.
I'm absolutely honored because my goal and purpose now is to get on every platform. And I respect the platforms that you've created. You had mentioned all of these countries and these 20 million people that are listening to your broadcast, and you've worked long and hard to accomplish that. So every time I get an opportunity like this, I make sure that I prepare myself mentally, spiritually, emotionally, because I owe it to you and your listeners to bring the best possible version of Clark Bartram that I can, regardless of what side of the bed I woke up on. If I didn't feel the way I did this morning, I need to adjust myself, because this is something that I need to take seriously, because there are men, there are women, there are people, young or old, listening right now that are going, okay, wait a minute, maybe this guy's got something to say. I'm going to stop what I'm doing. I'm going to give my undivided attention for however long we're here, and hopefully whatever information I can share, they can apply it to their life. That's really the key, because just getting information or getting motivated isn't enough. It's about the application of knowledge that we're being presented every single day. And it's up to us as humans to really be aware of that and take the blinders off, as they say, and be cognizant of the fact that every single person we pass by has an equal amount of knowledge to pass on. It's simply a matter of, are we willing to listen and apply it?
What I appreciate, and a big shout out to your representative, Dean Drasnin, is he said in our conversation, looking at, and I'm going to go back here in my notes, a great segment topic is Clark's, quote, "Check It Like a Man" campaign for prostate cancer. Prostate cancer doesn't care if you're rich and famous. Now, my doctors had recommended that the age has changed now. It is now recommended for men to get a colonoscopy and endoscopy 45 to 47 years old. Would you like to bring us up to speed as to what's happening with you, what's going on with this campaign, and tell us more about Check It Like a Man?
Yeah, so going back to the age thing, I was 59, getting ready to turn 60, thinking to myself, I'm coming in at 60 hot. I'm going to be the best version of me possible on every level. Sitting in the gym parking lot, minding my business, talking to my concierge doctor, looking at my blood work. And I was looking at testosterone because contrary to the belief on the internet, I don't do any sort of TRT, no gear as they call it. I'm 100% natural. And I teach men how to boost their testosterone naturally. So I'm looking at my testosterone, admittedly getting ready to go online and brag, hey, I'm this old and I have this high of testosterone. When my concierge doctor said, Clark, well, that's great, but your PSA is 8.9. You better hightail it to your urologist. So I drug my feet a little bit, went to my urologist, did the dreaded DRE, digital rectal exam, which no man wants. And then he was in there, and I even made content about it. I had my phone turned on. He didn't know it. It was on the stool, looking down. You can hear him in the background say, oh, I feel something. It's a little odd, but I'm not worried about it. So if my doctor wasn't worried, I was worried. He called for an MRI. Insurance turned it down. We pushed back, got it. They saw something, and they came back with what's referred to as a PIRAD score, and I scored 5 out of 5. And my doctor said, hey, unless you're an anomaly, there's a really good chance that you have cancer. And I said, Doc, look at me. I am an anomaly. But we go to the next step and get the biopsy, which was painful, and we got the results back from that. I'm sitting in the room that I'm sitting in now, and my wife was behind me, and he said the words that no one wants to hear, we found cancer. So it was that point I lifted my head, pulled my shoulders back, and said, let's go. I am the perfect guy because of my platform to be an advocate, to be a voice, and to be someone who says, listen, man, get your PSA checked. So I've created a screening, and I have products like there's a great product I have called Pectisol that when every time a man reaches out to me, those are 2 things that I make sure he does. He gets his PSA screened, and he immediately gets on this product Pectisol because it's something that I know will help reduce inflammation and all of the things that I know now that are going on that I never knew back in September, right at the end, right before October 3rd when I turned 60. So I am like an advocate. Check It Like a Man is my nonprofit organization, which is funding a documentary about my process. It is funding me going to get on podcasts everywhere. Someone will take me. I'll jump on an airplane tomorrow, and I will fly anywhere to sit down with anyone. And I am all in. I am doing this thing 100%. So here I am.
I'm going to read something here. The prostate doesn't care if you're rich or famous. 1 in 8 men in the U.S. will battle prostate cancer in their lives. That's 3.1 million American men, approximately 268,000 new cases each year. Do you have a better understanding or more clarity, Clark, as to what could have caused it? What can you share with us and everyone who's listening and who will listen to this interview again, because it is going to be available on any one of your favorite podcast platforms? What is the Achilles heel?
So the Achilles heel, in my opinion, it's a metabolic situation, not a genetic situation, meaning if your dad got it doesn't mean you're going to get it. Your chances are higher, but being the fact that I believe it's a metabolic disease, it's a lifestyle thing that happens. Now, people are going to go, well, you're Mr. Fit. Why did you get prostate cancer? Well, you had mentioned it earlier. It's no respecter of persons. It doesn't matter if you're America's most trusted fitness professional and you've been on 150 magazine covers, or if you're a guy that wakes up every day and works hard 9 to 5 and doing the blue collar thing, which I love and respect. Like it doesn't matter. So as I look back and as I'm looking for data to back up what it is that I believe is causing this, the lifestyle that we live, there are more men dying from prostate cancer than any other form of cancer. The second leading cause, actually, because of the amount of men that get it. So if so many men are getting this situation, I'm trying to change the words around this too, because I don't like the words that we choose to describe these things. But anyway, with that being said, I would say stress is the number one single factor, period, end of story, that is one of the main causes for this. And it's environmental stress, it's personal stress, it's relational stress, it's all of those collectively coming together. Because like weight loss, if I said, hey, you need to lose weight, and I only put you on a treadmill and had you do nothing else, that wouldn't get it done. There are a multitude, like a multi-pronged approach that you need. All of those things will converge and get you to the end goal. It's the same with this diagnosis. It's not just the stress, it's the chemical exposure, it's the heavy metal exposure, it's the parasites, it's the bacteria that's in the gut. And these are all things that I know for sure that are in me that we are working to eliminate, because here's the deal. Cancer is a symptom. And what people deal with is the symptom, not the cause of the symptom. We need to get to the root cause. So if a man's listening right now and he's in that same situation, brother, listen, deal with the stress in your life. If you got to get away from someone, get away from someone. This is life or death now. Understand what is in your body that is not in the right proportions. I know now that I've been exposed to certain chemicals from my time in the Marine Corps. There was just an article that came out. So I'm learning more each day as to what are some of the different ingredients in this thing that turned in to this diagnosis called prostate cancer. So, while genetics do play a part in it, so black men, for example, black men are more at risk. So if there's a black man listening to me who had a father who had prostate cancer, I would say if you're 22, run to your doctor right now and get your PSA checked. None of these guidelines matter. This is standard of care, and I don't operate within that standard of care. I operate within what's going on with me. I need to go get something handled right now. And you have the right to push back on your physicians as well.
I agree with that. Clark, you've got me excited. And I mean that in a very good way, where what I hear and what I feel under many layers or through many layers with you is not only do I appreciate you talking about stress, and I really believe where the world is at right now, there is such a lack of care, and there's also carelessness in not having enough compassion for another human being.
Bam.
The other thing is I'm in a huge transition. It's one of those be careful what you wish for, you may just get it moments. And I feel like my life is so, I guess, defragmented or just so broken up, like someone took my life and threw it up like confetti. And I'm like, God, all right, so where am I landing now? Where am I? And then I've got to, that's also where my weekend was in this emotional, mental turmoil of a lot of great things and good things happening. It's costing me a lot of sacrifice that the public does not know. And very few people in my life who I had conversations with over the weekend would know. So we're getting back to that, and I want to thank you for the perfect timing in this. Is we're not just doing an interview here, Clark. We're not just sharing great advice. I feel that God brought you into my life, and I feel that you are a sign and this encouragement and this beacon, and I mean this with all my heart, and I feel it within the core of my gut, and starting to feel it throughout my body, is there is more than just hope in the world. There is this power that we have of free will that, as difficult as it may seem to get through the struggles, especially the emotional, mental struggles, there has to be this determination and belief that through your will, there are great opportunities and possibilities, and it's just a passing moment. And most importantly, to close by saying, and please take the mic, is I refused to dismiss even those uncomfortable feelings of anger, disgust, and, oh my God, I have to deal with this at this age and this point in my life. And I knew something said, Stephen, don't stay there. My mentor said, Stephen, don't stay there. And I said, I'm giving myself grace for having this moment because this is what I'm feeling. And if I tell myself that even in my extremely ticked off feelings, that I have to sacrifice in order to go to this next level in a way that I'm sacrificing and letting go right now, it's easier said than done, and I'm not going to tell myself that I'm wrong for being absolutely ticked off?
That's some heavy stuff right there. But encourage you, whatever it is that you're moving through right now. Like you said, it's a blip in time and you're going to come out the other end. And you obviously wanted this thing because you said, be careful what you pray for. So here you go. And the reality is the people who need to step into your life will step in, and you'll gain whatever knowledge you need to gain from it. And you're going to come out the other side better, just like I am as a result of what I'm going through and doing. Didn't want it. I got it. Ain't going to cry about it. I'm going to deal with it and use it to the best of my ability and use my platform like you have one. And that's where we're at. It's simply where we're at.
What advice, where can someone like myself or anyone that has not been tested yet, or even if they've been tested, Clark, where do we begin? From your personal and professional viewpoint, whether it's emotional health, mental health, physical health, nutrition, hormones, where do we start?
You start by, first of all, getting tested. If you haven't been tested, which I am now hearing from men literally every single day, because guys watch me on my Instagram and they've been watching me for years, many of whom have said, man, I had your magazine cover in my locker room when I was a wrestler or football, whatever. Like, it's amazing to me. I'm looking at these people like, you were in high school when I was doing this? It blows me away. So there's that time thing again in the decades of doing this. So that platform that I have, I'm saying, listen, get tested. And I went as far as creating my own test. Talk about serendipitous moments. I'm in the gym and I meet a guy right when I get this diagnosis, and he's introduced as a guy who runs the largest blood draw facility in San Diego. And he said in that moment, hey, we're looking for influencers to create their own blood test. Do you want your own? And I'm like, how soon can we do it? He said, this afternoon. Literally, I went there that afternoon, and now I have screening tests that I'm looking at here in my office, and one's PSA only. The other one has 7 markers in it. I ship it out. You go to my website, Clark Bartram Systems. I ship it to you. You do it in the privacy of your own home. Send it out on a self-addressed stamped envelope. That's where you start. You start there. And then from there, whatever the outcome is. So say you have something. If a guy gets a high number on PSA, listen, it does not mean that you have cancer. It's a check engine light is all it is. It's like, okay, go get your engine checked. And that's where I come back. So this happened to my little brother. I call him my little brother, but he's bigger than me. And matter of fact, this morning, I said, Jason, your prostate is swollen. So it's either prostatitis, BPH, or prostate cancer, or some sort of infection in there. Doesn't always mean it's cancer. But what we need to do is be proactive. That's why I refer this product Pectisol to people, because every time I talk to someone, I'm like, what are you taking for it? Nothing. You need to be on something. We're not proactive enough. So that is right there. Be proactive. So if you're saying, Clark, I'm great, I don't have any of these, assess the stress in your life. Assess what you're eating. Assess whether or not you're working out. Assess the community that you're involved in. Because all of those things, like I had mentioned earlier, collectively will add up over time, and they have to manifest somehow, some way if you don't manage them properly. And for me, they manifested in what I have. And I am telling guys, look, when you start taking control of all of these areas in your life and make changes, regardless of how hard those changes might be, back to your point about where you're at, it will benefit you in the long run, because you could potentially navigate through a very uncomfortable situation that I and so many other men in the world are going through. And let's not forget all of the other people who are dealing with other sorts of cancers and things like that. No one wants to be in this position. And we all, looking back, could have probably said, man, I wouldn't have done this. I would have changed that. So if you're hearing me now and you don't have any of those things, then change this and change that if something comes up in your spirit right now.
What's the obvious, Clark, when we think about nutrition or something? It may seem, oh, well, we hear that all the time. You know the layers. The facts are here. So where should, let's just say, myself begin? What do you recommend? And I'm going to say I eat more vegan, vegetarian style. I eat to my blood type. I've had all the tests done. So my blood type is A positive, and so I eat to that. And then also with my doctor nutritionist, just found that meats and processed sugars, my body doesn't like them. But
Right.
what do you recommend?
Your body doesn't like processed anything, period. So even being vegan, if you look in the vegan stores, they're processed garbage. There's so much junk out there that's made from pieces and parts, and there are multiple ingredients and chemicals and binders and things that turn this into a steak or that into tofurkey or this into that. And it's not natural. It's not the way it was in nature. So the best way anyone could eat is single ingredient foods. So what's a single ingredient food? An apple, an avocado, a carrot. So these are things that you can eat as a vegan. All of those sorts of things. When you start getting into these designer foods, that's exactly what they are. They're not real. Your body doesn't like it because it's processed. Now there's all of these sorts of chemicals that are being introduced to your body in little by little. Another area that a lot of people don't think about is toothpaste. I am part owner of a toothpaste company, it's a men's health company called Legendary Men's Care, where we've taken all of the endocrine disruptors out of all of the things that we use on a day-to-day basis. Toothpaste, deodorant, shampoo, shaving cream, all those things. There's something in toothpaste called triclosan, which is something that we found in my blood, in my data, when we really data mined me through saliva, feces, urine, and blood. We looked at everything, and that was one of the leading things. And I'm like, where's that coming from? It's coming from toothpaste. So if you're swallowing 7% of your toothpaste every single day, collectively over time, by the time you die at the average age of 78, whatever it is, you've swallowed 25 to 28 pounds of toothpaste. No wonder that every single man on the planet will at some point be told that they have prostate cancer. It's just time. It's time, because all of these things are adding up. Why doesn't it happen at 13 when testosterone is through the roof? It's because it's collective over time. It's that metabolic thing that I had talked about. All of these things add up. So start really taking a step back. So the obvious thing, to your point, is processed foods. So if we're talking about nutrition, avoid them.
I'm going to honestly say I'm very happy you said it. I stay away from, I don't touch tofu and all that garbage or vegan bacon. I would say, I eat a lot of lentils. I eat a lot of vegetables. I love my vegetables. I don't, except for Brussels sprouts, I will not touch Brussels sprouts. But other than that, I have no problem touching a vegetable. And then I love beans, garbanzo beans, pinto beans. Yeah. I love beans. And that's basically, I made homemade rice pilaf yesterday with lentils and with garbanzo beans. It was fantastic. And I'm going to tell you, my digestive system is so much better eating more the vegetables, but for some reason my body loves those beans.
Yeah, they're single ingredient foods. So your body has learned to digest them properly. Some people have issues with that, but here's the reality. If you don't digest, you die. And that's what people need to understand. We are malnourished in our Western culture. We're so proud of all of the creature comforts that we have, but those creature comforts are really what is making our country one of the fattest countries on the known universe. And we need to really kind of get back to basics and start eating foods that have the enzymes in them, like all of the things that you just mentioned have natural enzymes. Fruits and vegetables have natural enzymes to help your body digest. Processed and packaged foods don't have those enzymes. So if you're not taking a digestive enzyme, you're just simply putting, I hate to use this word, but it was never meant for humans. Calories were never meant for humans. Calories were meant for steam engines back in the 1940s or something. Some scientists came along, applied that to food. It's simply to sell things. That's all it is. But that's how we, look at things these days. But you need these digestive enzymes to break down these foods that your body cannot break down. Otherwise, you get gas and you get bloated and you get stomach issues and you get gut biome being out of balance. That's why everyone's talking about gut biome now, when no one ever talked about gut biome before. It's because of all of the stuff that we're eating that isn't being digested, and it's messing us up. And that has to manifest somehow, some way, somehow. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I've been a guy that's done that. And maybe that's part of my reason. Well, it's definitely part of the reason and position I'm in.
Well, I'll tell you this. What is a scientific medical fact is stress affects the gut. During the pandemic, I drove myself crazy with feeling locked up and not being able to go anywhere. I didn't have a problem with a lot of things that were happening at that time. It's just due to the nature of our industry, as you know, Clark. I'm used to being very proactive and on set and traveling and going here and there. Well, I drove myself so nuts where I gave myself gastritis. I had 2 irritation spots they found in the colonoscopy in my gut, nothing in my esophagus or anything. And they said that would be due to stress. They offered medication. I said, absolutely not psychotropic drugs or Valium or anything. It was just something to help with the stomach acid and stuff like that. And I said to I would say my butt doctor and my regular doctor, I said, since this is due to stress, then there has to be a way for me to not manage it, but to find ways to get to the nucleus of the emotional root without airbrushing it or masking it or subsiding it with another chemical compound and go from there. And here's something I would like to get your thoughts on. What I'm doing is I'm working with someone right now with healing, and I don't know if the word would be, Clark, recovering, but let's just say my mitochondria. I have noticed a huge difference to where not only do I truly believe and feel the gastritis or the stomach, the 2 small little issues in the stomach lining have healed, but I've also noticed that I feel like I'm reversing time with now repairing the mitochondria in my body.
Yeah, well, you know your body. And that's the thing, is you are so tuned in that you know that's happening. And that's one of the big ways to heal that on a cellular level, is knowing that you have the ability to do that. And some people might think, oh, Clark, you're crazy for saying that. I'm not at all. That's how well we need to know ourselves and depend on ourselves to get through these different situations we find ourselves in. And I love the fact that you said you didn't want to go get any psychotropic or anything like that to help you mask or hide or just push to the side or sweep under the carpet something that could be dealt with on an emotional and cellular level. Like you could sit there. That's what that noise does, is it vibrates on a cellular level, and our body can heal itself. And that's currently what I'm doing with what I have going on, is I'm believing in this process of healing from the cells out. We look at ourselves too much in the mirror and not really understanding that what's going on the inside is way more important.
What you just did is you reminded me of my training of working with the vagus nerve and doing the humming and all of that. How do you feel now? How do you feel not only in this moment and in this interview and this experience? Are you still hopeful? Do you feel that no matter how many people you speak with and what gets out there, do you feel like you are in a place and space, Clark, of fulfillment?
Absolutely, 100%, beyond any shadow of a doubt. I feel as good as I've ever felt. I look as good as I've ever looked. I am accepting of the position that I'm in, come hell or high water. It doesn't matter. If I die tomorrow, I die tomorrow. It's just the way I see it. And that might seem selfish or whatever, but it's just the way it is. If I make it through this thing and I do it without any standard of care, then that's what I've done. If at some point I have to rely on standard of care and go do certain things that maybe I didn't think I needed to at the beginning, then I'm accepting of that. It's so important, like, for people to understand that this is the moment that exists in life. This is all that exists. I'm a big believer in The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle. That's such a great book. And I'm now more than ever, really, truly understanding that book. I've read it 10 times. Each time I've read it, I understand more. Now with this situation that I find myself in, I now understand more than ever that we recently lost a national hero, Apollo Creed. So I just saw Carl Weathers at Gold's Gym Venice, and in the movie Rocky, and Rocky's having a tough moment, and he says, man, when are you going to start training? He's like, tomorrow, I'll train tomorrow. And he says, there is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. And when I heard that after Apollo Creed, Carl Weathers had passed, it hit me. It didn't hit me in the movie like it hit me today, because there literally is no tomorrow. Literally, there is no tomorrow. And we always run around saying, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll get to it later. This is the only point in time that exists. And if tomorrow comes, it's now. It's this moment. and that's where I'm at. So in this moment, and I know that's how you were asking that question, and I appreciate it because I feel great. I'm so happy for this moment because this is what I was born to do. October 3rd, 1963, little Clark Bartram was born to be on this phone call right now. Period. Talking exactly about what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I like that. I felt that. Thank you. Yeah, I resonate with that a lot. I didn't even want to say anything because I wanted to sit with that. It's powerful what you just said. No one is ever referenced in that way before, in such belief and conviction. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, man.
When we think about testosterone, what should I consider? What should any of us as men consider? I don't take anything to sustain or anything. I've been tested. Everything's normal. That was about 3 years ago. I'm going to have everything done again, probably within another month or two. Just like I like to get these checkups. For optimal testosterone balance, do you recommend testing? How often? What is your experience? What works? Or is it just going to be different for everyone and it's just between that person and their general practitioner?
I personally think that men, especially when you get to be around 50, you need to start testing at least once a year. But the problem is, and I deal with this literally every single day of my life, talking to men who say things like, well, I'm too busy. I don't have insurance. I don't have the time. I don't need to go to the doctor. I don't want to know. I've heard every literal BS excuse that you could get. And now that I'm almost forcing men to do it, the thing that I'm hearing back is, wow, I'm really glad I went and got checked because I found out this that I never would have known. So our blood is where our data is. When people try to lose weight, they just get on the internet and they say, best weight loss program. If you don't look at your blood and understand where you're at hormonally and with all of these other vitamins and things that are found only in your blood, you're just guessing again. You're listening to some influencer online. You need that data and you need to understand. You had mentioned you did the blood test diet, or you do the blood diet. And I love that because to me, that just makes sense that our blood would dictate what we can really assimilate and use and get the most nutrients from. Some people might not believe it. Doesn't matter. It works for you. It works for you. So with respect to testosterone levels, they're all over the place. And we can't come out with a standard. That's why the range, like from 300 to 1200, and guys fall in between there, because 300 on one guy doesn't mean the same thing as it does to 300 on another guy. Because of the receptors, whether or not the androgen receptors are really doing their job of receiving these signals that are being sent to produce testosterone. Some guys function at 300 and don't have any of the issues that might be indicative of what's considered low T, like loss of libido, belly fat, fogginess, and all of that. The problem is, the internet comes around and they convince every guy that after the age of 30, he's going to lose 1% of his testosterone every single year. And then by the time he's 60, he's going to be half the man he used to be, and that he needs to get on some exogenous form of testosterone in a shot, a patch, a pellet, or a cream. And I'm trying to tell guys, look, if you're not doing lifestyle intervention first, then you are missing the boat, because this is not the end all be all. There's all of these people online. Every time they see me, their famous thing to say is TRT. Like testosterone replacement therapy suddenly will turn people into Superman. It's not how it works. I wish people would understand this. These are lazy humans who don't want to accept the fact that there's someone like me operating on this planet with, this is me every day, literally. You could ask anyone in my house within earshot of my voice, they would say, this is this dude every day. And it's important to understand that we can't just go to some clinic that's in a strip mall and get a shot and expect it to change everything, because lifestyle intervention is required after you do that as well. So this is a topic that is very near and dear to me because, again, I deal with it on a daily basis. And guys are thinking, because they've been lied to on the internet, that if they go and do something, like I had mentioned earlier, a shot, a pill, patch, or cream, they're going to get some miraculous results. Does not work that way. It's lifestyle is the key.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And if ever a discussion or question about peptides or anything like that, can you expand at all that not every guy who looks flawless the way you do, Clark, everyone accomplishes things differently. If someone has no intention of having 6 or 8 pack abs, or if they do, where is the balance? Like for myself, yeah, would I love to have a type of physique that you do? Absolutely. I just know for myself, and understanding my body and my emotional mental state of being, is there are certain accomplishments I want to have and I want to make in my life. At the same time, for myself, as long as I know that homeostasis is happening, I am not going to stress myself out to try to emulate the physique of someone else if I either don't feel ready to put in the determination and the hard work to get there. That as long as my hormones are balanced, my testosterone is balanced, and I am healthy, and that I have more muscle than fat, whether visceral or otherwise, to me, I rather take it slow and gradual. And maybe when I reach another 10 years or maybe 5 years and ready for the cover or some sort of PR transformation campaign, then I'll focus on that. So once again, to digress back a little bit, what do you recommend for men? Because I'm going to tell you, social media is the new porn hub of nonstop naked men all over the place. For a man's emotional mental health, where can he begin? Where can I begin to not get so brainwashed by the idea of what we should look like and how we should perform as men? Instead, to focus on what's going to be in our best interest for our individual own health and begin there.
Well, if you rewind what you said about homeostasis and all of that, that's the answer to your question. You clearly said it, and you said it in a way that makes complete and total sense, because here's the reality. This is what I do for a living. The reason I look the way I look is because I've been focused wholeheartedly on being who I am. So if I go to anyone else's job, for example, if I came to your job, there would be a long time that you would train me and teach me, and these contacts that you've made and all of what you've done to accomplish all of what you've accomplished over the years. It would take a while for me to get there. If I choose to dedicate enough time to it, I can have a certain amount of success. Maybe not to the level that you've had, because maybe there's a genetic predisposition for you to be really good at what you do, and that's why you do what you do. No differently than was a predetermined genetic makeup for me that allowed me to be who I am, and I found that path, and I knew that that's what I was created to do. I would not be on this call right now if I wasn't who I was in the industry. So with that being said, I want every man or every woman or anyone listening to embrace who it is they are and what they do. And that takes away from the stress that you'd mentioned of trying to live up to some standard that may or may not be attainable. And it may or may not even be advisable to get to that level, because What are you going to do with it then? You had mentioned some press junket or something that you might need to do to promote your brand and what you do. Yeah, that's cool. But otherwise, what good is it? I mean, what good are abs? It really means nothing. Abs are not my goal when I start working with someone. Matter of fact, if someone comes to me and they want to be a bodybuilder or get abs, I'm not interested in working with that person because their mind is in the wrong place. This is about what you talked about. It's about a healthy checkup. I had a guy yesterday who I met in the DR when I was speaking at an event there. I brought him up on stage, and he told me, I want to get off metformin, I want to get off blood pressure medication, and one other thing that he had mentioned. I got trolled online because people were telling me, Clark, you're giving guys false hope. They can't do that. Well, fast forward to yesterday when I got a message from that guy that was on stage with me in the DR at the event where these guys trolled me. He said, Clark, guess what? I'm off metformin, I'm off blood pressure medication, and the other one. I said, let's go. And he doesn't have one ab to show, but he is an absolute changed human. That's what you should be striving for.
I love that. I love that. Like I'm not going to say that was the answer I was looking for. It was better because you articulated where I was going, you processed it, and that was the end result. So that is an answer to my question, if anybody was wondering. And it was an extended insight, and I appreciate that. And that's where you nailed it. You've got to do what's in the best interest for you. And, you know, what we see all the time online and some people's goals and expectations, and as you shared, Clark, you know, with the potential client and depending on the person's intentions, know what the person's intention is. And make sure that whoever you work with, and I do this the same for myself, is I look for that alignment, because the fact of it is you can't control everything. What you do have control over are the decisions that you make. And no matter what anyone may or may not want to say about you, the fact of it is once you begin to work with someone, it is about accountability. And it is our responsibility with the people that we work with, as you know, Clark, that what we do is going to leave that lasting impression. And how well that person moves forward after us is what's going to leave that legacy and what they do with that information thereof. So either way, they can take it and interpret it however they want. But ultimately, as long as you know that you're doing right and you're doing right in the best interest for that other person, then that's a great way to begin.
That's 100% how I approach my business. I'm required, just by nature of what I was taught from my dad as a young man, when someone comes to you and gives you $10 for a service, you better give them 20 back in the service that you're providing, which is the accountability piece. And it's the loving them piece and being vulnerable, being open and honest. I'm a different kind of coach when I have somebody come into my group. Community is big. You touched on that. And that's one of the reasons I have so much success, is because I surround these men with other men who are at varying stages of a transformation themselves. And they just collectively come together and encourage each other. And it makes it, all I have to do is facilitate a positive environment. And that's easy to do because these guys trust me and respect me and listen to me and want to do what I'm doing, because I lead from my feet, not from the seat. I'm out here doing what I'm asking them to do, whether it's push through a struggle in my marriage or push through things in business and hiring coaches where I know I'm lacking, and doing things that I'm telling them to do. I'm currently doing all of those things myself. And now with his diagnosis, I'm doing it now more than ever.
Clark Bartram, everyone. Clark, any closing thoughts, any insights you would like to leave us with?
Just thank you for the opportunity. I really do appreciate it. And if you need me for anything, I'm always here for you, bud.
Absolutely. Well, you've got my private personal number at all. Give me a call anytime if you have any questions. If there's an idea of another show, I would greatly appreciate it. What's up and coming for you? I'm going through some of the information now. Anything that we should know in the next month by summer at all?
I am going to the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. I'm going to be doing a bunch of podcasts out there in Columbus, Ohio. So I'll be there at the end of this month. And I have a retreat coming up called the Balanced Man Retreat. And then I have another one called the CB Experience. all of these things are found on my website, clarkbartramsystems.com. There's a whole bunch of stuff on there. That's where the blood tests can be found, all the supplements I have. And I want to shout out again to, if you haven't tried that Pectasol product, brother, I want you to get it, because every man needs to be, rounding it up with this whole prostate conversation. That's how I want to end it, is remind men to get their PSA checked and be proactive with using products that are going to help prevent anything from happening in the future. Where's
a good place to get that?
If you go to EcoNugenics, just look up the product online. You can see it on there, Pectasol. And I have a link. I can give you a link. You can put it in your show notes or whatever. It's the website here. Let me look here at the website. It is, if we go, we have time for this?
Yeah, take your time.
Okay, Pectasol. Pectasol. Right here. If you go to econugenics.com, ECONUGENICX, econugenics.com. That's a really good product. I have orange trees in the front of my house, and you've probably heard it said before that in the orange peel is where the really good nutrients are to aid in support of the prostate. Mm-hmm. Well, what do we do with that peel? We peel it and we throw it away. I've always just naturally eaten orange peels.
So have I.
Maybe I was protecting my prostate unknowing that. Maybe my body was telling me. Well, EcoNugenics has made a product that has got so many studies that support the claims that they make, that I'm personally experiencing of my PSA's numbers are going down, thankfully. I don't get up in the middle of the night and pee all the time like you would expect with somebody that has the diagnosis that I have. And I really, truly believe it's because I use this product consistently. That's why I tell guys everywhere, you got to get this, man. We're so caught up on pre-workouts and all of these designer things. Let's start really being smart about what we're using and for what.
And I would say that with this, I'm assuming, unless I need to call the company, Clark, I take it like there's not an issue with having this or taking this with other supplements, correct?
Yeah, there's no contraindications that I'm aware of, and it's not anything. It's a natural occurring. It's a single product ingredient. It's modified citrus pectin. So they've taken all those orange peels and did something really cool with it that I can't explain. You can go on the website and read all the data, all the science. It's there. That's what I'm about. If there's data and science to back it up, I'll tell you, quick story. My doctor who I hired in Scottsdale, Arizona, Tom Incledon, who's dealing with my situation, sent me a bunch of supplements to use for what we found in my gut. And I had been taking Pectasol already, and he sent me a big old bottle of Pectasol. I'm like, why did you send this? He goes, because I believe in this product. So a doctor is recommending this to me to use along with everything else that he had sent me to deal with my gut issues and things like that. So if doctors are recommending it to me, I feel very confident in recommending it to people because, one, I'm feeling and working, and I'm sending it to other people. I'm like, Clark, thanks for the recommendation. So,
and it's in powder form, right, Clark?
It's powders and capsules. So if you don't want to mix up a powder, you can just take 6 capsules in the morning, 6 capsules at night. The body assimilates extremely well. The powder is non-flavored. There's some flavored ones as well. That's what the doctor sent me. It was like an apple flavor. Really good. And it's, they give you a little mixer to mix it up with. And
I don't
go around bragging about products as much as I do with this because I'm hearing guys saying, thank you.
Yeah, I don't need the flavor stuff. I like to stay away from anything that's got a flavor or even color because I am sensitive to those colors. My favorite candy has always been licorice. However, I am sensitive to the reds and blues, and that was something we learned for myself at a very young age. Thank God my mom, who adopted me, is a nurse, and they ran all of these tests when I was in foster care, and it comes to find out, that is not fantasy or fairy tale. I'm going to say it is proof that artificial colors do affect people. So anything, once again, anything that's not colored, not flavored, I don't need the taste. I would prefer that supplements don't have all that extra stuff. I don't even want that fructose oil, that fake freaking sugar crap. Just give it to me raw. I don't care how bad it tastes. I take, what is that, Clark? You think I would know it. Oh my goodness. Not tea. It's that oil. It smells like gasoline. Oh my God. How can I forget? It's that freaking, I take it every single day.
Castor oil?
Not castor oil. Oh my God. Is it flaxseed? Not flaxseed.
Green fat?
What is that crazy oil that they always put into? Hold on for a moment.
While he's away checking on this oil, I'll keep you entertained with the soft, smooth music in the background.
I always carry it. I always carry it with me. Black seed oil. That stuff
I'd use that too.
Potent. But I don't care. I'm not mixing it with anything. I take it right in a teaspoon and that's it.
There you go. That's good. I take that as well. Yeah. All right.
Clark, just hold on the line real quick if you don't mind. We're just going to close out real quick.
Okay.
Thank you to everyone who's tuned in live on air with Stephen Cuoco on Biz Talk Radio and Power 98.5 Satellite Radio. If you just joined us in the middle or towards the end, remember, Live on Air with Stephen Cuoco is available on any of your favorite podcast platforms, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Amazon Audible, and Spotify. Definitely join us by going to power985.com or on the app or on the website, whatever it may be. I'm excited. This interview's been amazing. And check the schedule for your local time zone, whether it's Live on Air with Stephen Cuoco or Live on Air with Stephen Cuoco Special Edition. Definitely this show will re-air on Power 98.5 and also on Biz Talk Radio. Live on Air with Stephen Cuoco airs at 8 a.m., 12 p.m., 5 p.m. Eastern, weekdays, Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, and Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern. Hope you had a great day. Thank you to Clark Bartram for an incredible, powerful, impactful interview. And look into that Pectosol. I'm ordering this. Have a great day, everyone. Live well, be well, and remember, take action, do something, and respect yourself and whatever emotions you're going through, whatever's happening in your life. Do your best to face it. Don't dismiss yourself. Don't avoid it. Process through it no matter how uncomfortable it may be. I had a full whole weekend, 3 days of uncomfortability. However, look at how I made out today. I woke up on the opposite side. All the clouds are gone. The rain's gone. Everything's gone. It's bright and sunny over here now. Live well, be well, and know that you are loved. Have a great day, everyone.
Friend us on your socials and let's connect.